Welcome to my video series, Coffee and Cringe. Today we are drinking coffee at 9 p.m. because time has no meaning. We're all just spinning around on this unfathomably tiny rock in the middle of the galaxy, in the middle of the unfathomable wasteland of the universe. What does any of this mean anyway? Welcome to my existential crisis. My life is in shambles. Let's try this again.
Welcome to my video series, Coffee and Cringe, where I tell you these shocking and embarrassing things that keep me up late at night and needing more coffee in the morning.
I was that stupid. It's horrifying. It's definitely the worst story on here. Today the topic is grade school embarrassment. We all have some pretty embarrassing grade school stories, but I'm really hoping that mine aren't the worst you've ever heard, because they're pretty bad. I never wanted to revisit these memories, but unfortunately, my mind tells me that we're going to, and it's usually pretty late at night right before I am trying to fall asleep. Grade school is a pit of despair for awkward people, and awkward people usually tend to cling to other awkward people, and we just do awkward shit together. That's me. I do that. My best friend was just as weird and just as awkward as me. We actually had to have counseling. Because we wouldn't stop tying our legs together and pretending to be conjoined twins.
We pretended to be conjoined twins with our legs tied together.
It became a problem. It became such a problem that we had to have counseling. We also talked so fast that really no one else could understand us. And this basically cemented and just solidified that no one else was going to try and talk to us, even if they could understand us. So in grade school, we did the whole drop-off thing for a couple years, and every morning in the school drop-off, my stepfather's truck would backfire. While at least this wasn't during the whole school shooting pandemic that we had, or at least it wasn't aired in popular media, and at least no one dropped to the ground in fear, it did ensure that every morning, first thing, when I was way too tired to be alive, that everyone would turn around and stare at me in surprise. My clothes never really fit like I thought that they should. I guess I was a little hoochie and I always wanted my clothes to be really tight. But especially in second grade, I really wanted these super tight flare-bottom pants. This was 2002. Fit and flare pants were in style. So the best I could do was to stuff an entire drawer of socks into my pants to make them look tighter. I can't have been that stupid, but I was. I was that stupid. And my mother, while I'm yelling and crying about it not being fair, she is pulling socks out of my pants. And my brother makes sure to tell everyone at school everything that happened. I was stuffing my pants before girls even thought to stuff their bras. I'm basically a trendsetter. I also had an unfortunate superpower, you could call it. I could break anything I touched, but only if it was really cool. And only if it was really important to somebody else. And it was always on accident. My solution when something like this would happen would be I would just hide it and not tell anyone. I would hide the broken object and it would never be seen again. I was really good at hiding. My entire childhood was literally a wasteland of broken things. I was at my friend's house one time when said superpower made an appearance. She already knew about my superpower, and so she pretty much never let me touch any of her favorite toys. I was definitely designated to her least favorite toy section. I got the ugly Barbies every time. And she went downstairs to talk with her mom, and I decided that I was going to play with her favorite Barbie because I just wanted a turn. I just wanted to play with the pretty Barbie with the pretty hair. So I sneakily took this Barbie into the bathroom where I knew she wouldn't find me playing with it. And I just thought, when she came back, I could leave the bathroom and then hide it somewhere in her room. That way she wouldn't know I was playing with it. I beheaded this Barbie. The head just popped off. I swear. It was magic. It was my superpower. The head just fell right off. And I didn't know what to do about it, so I went to my usual solution of hiding it. And since I was in the bathroom, the only real place to hide this Barbie was actually in the tank of the toilet, like where you lift up the lid on the back of a toilet. And that's what I did. So fast forward 5 years later, we're still friends, we're still hanging out a lot, and I'm over at her house, and I break something else. I break something else, and I need to hide it. And I'm in the bathroom again, because that's what I did. I would take all her favorite stuff into the bathroom to play with it. So I broke this thing, and I needed to hide it, and I went to the back of the toilet again. But I had forgotten about the Barbie I had put in there before. So I look into the back of the toilet, and I scream, because it is literally like Swamp Murder Victim Edition Barbie with detachable head in there. It's creepy. It's so scary. You'll be happy to hear that I hid the broken thing I had broke in the back of the toilet. No one questioned why I screamed. Maybe I am just that weird. Moving on to the next story. In 6th grade, I had a friend in my neighborhood. She was basically forced to be friends with me because of our proximity. It was just really convenient. So she would always come over and ask if I could play, and I would go over to her house and ask if she could play, and it was a great system. Later in grade school, around 7th grade, we were partners in crime. We did bad things, but we were just really bad at doing bad things. One time we stole one of my mom's cigarettes, and we wanted to smoke it in the bathroom, but I'm pretty sure we didn't even get it lit all the way. The next day, I write her this note about our fun time yesterday, and this note mentions smoking and smells. And very conveniently, I literally sign and address this note of delinquent behavior. And then I immediately lose it. Like, who does that? That's like a signed confession, throwing it out into the world. I stole one of my mom's cigarettes. So, luckily, the principal herself found this note, and she called me and my friend into the office. And because of the way that the note had mentioned smoking and smells, I guess, she gave us an entire lecture on marijuana. In the 7th grade. I didn't even know what marijuana was. So I somehow am so weird and so awkward that I got a whole lecture on marijuana consumption without ever knowing what it is. I also had this really bad habit of not going to the bathroom when I needed to. I don't know why that was such an issue for me. I would just get so wrapped up in thinking whatever I was doing was too important to stop and go to the bathroom. One example of this was if we were playing hide and go seek, I would rather pee myself than let people know my favorite hiding spot. And usually by this time that I was peeing myself, most people were done playing with the game anyway. The school literally informed my mom that I had to have a change of clothes in the office, like at all times, because while I had outgrown the age of 2, apparently my bladder hadn't. This would become an even bigger problem in the next story. It's horrifying. It's definitely the worst story on here, the most embarrassing. My school had a field trip they did every year where they took us into town to the indoor pool there, and we got to go swimming. At this point, it was a little later in grade school. It was 8th grade, and I had managed to suppress some of my weirdness. I was actually a little bit cool, I guess. And I had attracted the attention of my school crush that I'd had since like 1st grade. And we were set to spend the entire field trip together. But like I said in the last story, whenever I felt like I was doing something really important, I didn't want to go to the bathroom. I'll give you the short of it. I peed on him. I peed on my grade school crush. We were playing chicken, and I was on his shoulders, and I peed on his shoulders. After this, I literally just got up, went into the bathroom, and I cried in there for the rest of the field trip. And then when the field trip was over, they still couldn't get me to come out of the bathroom. and they had to actually call my mom to come get me. I hope my awkward grade school
Blah, blah, blah.
I hope my awkward grade school stories resonated with some of yours a little bit. Because for the love of God, I need to know that I'm not the only one with this crushing grade school embarrassment that keeps me up late at night. If you have any stories, I'd love to hear them. Please comment them down below. If you want to be notified of this content and you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. So stream on Thursdays and Saturdays. That schedule is listed down below in the description. See you guys again on the next Coffee and Cringe.